My name is Barry Porter. I was a lighthouse keeper with the Canadian Coast Guard for 23 years. I started in 1983 on Surgeons Cove on Exploits Island. Then I went to Long Point Twillingate on Twillingate Island. Then I spent 4 years on Bacalao Island, which is off Herring Neck and just west of Change Islands. And I spent 1 month on Puffin Island, filling in on a shift there. Okay, I'll tell you a rescue story on Surgeons Cove on Exploits Island. It happened in the fall of '92. Me and my co-worker Archibald was just finishing up shift, getting late in the night, fall of the year. It was a nice full moon, very little wind, but raging sea, mountains of swells. It was a big sea on. And we're just clewing up our shift. I think I was going off shift and Arch was going to come on. But all of a sudden, blasted over the radio, help, help, we're going to drown. And it took us totally off guard because there was no technique, no introduction of who this person was, or no protocol. It was just screaming on the radio that they're in trouble. And it sounded so loud and so clear, we knew it must have been nearby. And we went back to him on the radio, and this guy was panicking. We couldn't get no sense out of him first, and just screaming, "We're going to die! We're going to hit the cliffs!" And just going on. And we talked to him and got him to sort of calm down. And he said he could see our lighthouse. So we went out, looked out through the window. Sure enough, we could see a longliner about 2 miles west of us, right next to the cliff. And we told the guy to back up, to get back away from the cliff. But this guy was totally lost, him and another guy with him. But he wouldn't give any details. He said he sailed down from Labrador in a 65-foot boat. But we couldn't, he was very sketchy on any details. And just that he was going to drown, he was in trouble and all that. So we talked to him, got him to calm down. He backed off, got offshore a little bit. And we talked to him some more. And we're doing this on the Canadian Coast Guard radio, Channel 19. And after a few minutes, the radio operator at Comfort Cove Coast Guard radio station butted in and said, what's going on? He heard all the commotion, and you're not allowed to be talking like that on the radio, but he wanted to know if this 65-foot boat needed assistance. And the captain of that boat wouldn't even talk to the radio operator. He talked to the lightkeepers, but he didn't want any help from the radio operator. And he didn't want any Coast Guard boat tasked to assist him. But he said he'd talk to the lightkeepers. Which is strange, but so we continued talking to him and got him back off from the rocks several hundred meters, and then we told him to steam eastward toward the lighthouse. So we went out on the cliffs then with our binoculars and our flashlights, and we had a portable radio, so we still communicated with him. Got him to come over towards the lighthouse, and he was still panicking. He didn't know where to go or what he should do. He said he had no charts. He said he had a road map is all he had, which is totally weird, but he was in trouble. So we talked to him, and we told him that just south of the island, there's a nice harbor with a government wharf in Exploits Harbor. You could tie up and be safe there, and decide what you're going to do the next day. He went on in, by now it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. We were at it for hours talking to him. And and the whole time the Canadian Coast Guard radio at Comfort Cove was monitoring us, but everything was under control, so we didn't need a Coast Guard boat. I think the Grenfell was in Botwood Harbor at the time, and they were willing to come out, but it wasn't needed at the time. So they went in, tied up at the harbor for the night. So the next morning, my co-worker Arch said he was going in the harbor. We'd walk into the harbor every few days. It was a three kilometer hike across the island. A good hike uphill and downhill, mud and bogs, and it was a hour hike to get in there, and we done it quite often. So Hart said he'd go in the next morning and just meet the boys and see how they're doing and what their plan was. And the next morning, Hart had his breakfast and went in, left the lighthouse probably 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and went in Exploits Harbour. And when he got there, he went up to the government wharf, and was no sign of the boat. The boat was gone, vanished. And he went down to the wharf, like I said, expecting to see the guys there. And not only was the boat gone, but they never even untied the ropes. They left in such a hurry the next morning. They cut the lines with the hacks. Yeah, you can see the hacks lines across the top of the wharf, and the rope left on the grumps of the wharf. They never even untied herself. So I have no idea. We call it the mystery boat, but we have no idea who they were, where they were going, or what they were carrying. They could have had contraband, or we have no idea. But they got out of there in a hurry and disappeared. And I call it the mystery. In my book I wrote, I call it the mystery boat.